So we need to understand what it means to engage in that journey of transformation. This is what I want to share with you now towards the conclusion. I don't want you to just experience or just hear this theory of transformation. I want to let you know that I've turned that sort of into a mission of my own. How can I help myself and others engage in that journey of self-transformation? We feel that we have a solution to implement the lessons that I've taught to you today in this ayah through something we call Bayyinah TV. Some of you are familiar with it, but I'd like to introduce to you how Bayyinah TV operates and what we're hoping to accomplish for yourselves in it. It is at the end of the day my life mission. Everything I try to do is to create this resource so people can experience the transformation that I myself am so inspired by. And I hope that you'll accept this journey from me. What I told you about the tasks of the Prophet ﷺ, let's go back to that. Actually, before that, let me tell you what Bayyinah TV is about. It's about you going on a journey through the entire Quran in a way that brings light into your life, in a way that you can manage. I know people are busy, some of you are moms, some of you are working professionals, college students, you have different engagements in life. We're always going to be busy. We need to have an engagement with the Quran. For those who cannot drop everything and just study the Quran full time, we need an engagement with the Quran that we can systematically, continuously, and seriously make progress with the Quran on our own schedule. So here's our plan for you. The first plan for you is to study just the Fatiha, number one. That's all I'd like you to do is study the Fatiha. We've put a recording of the Fatiha together. I delivered it some years ago. And the purpose of this Fatiha isn't just to introduce you to the Quran. Of course, the best introduction to Allah and to the Quran itself is Allah's own introduction, which is the first surah, the Fatiha. But the way I present it is to highlight how is it actually so beautiful it can only be divine. Like, I'm not just translating it and teaching you some of the lessons inside the Fatiha. I'm trying to highlight its miraculous beauty and power. That's what I'm trying to do. I really love this dars particularly. I have a special bond with it because I've met people who used to be pastors and people who followed other faiths who came to Islam because they heard this dars. They heard this explanation of the Fatiha. So I feel that that's an important start and an important part of our contribution for you, the study of the Fatiha. Once you're done with the study of the Fatiha, my hope is that you're now curious about the rest of the Quran. If Fatiha is so unique, so beautiful, so remarkable, what else have I been missing out in the Quran? What else does it have to offer? And that's where I'd like you to take you to Divine Speech. Divine Speech is a program I put together many years ago. I traveled many parts of the world teaching this seminar, and it's been recorded now, alhamdulillah, and available on Bayyinah TV. I'll tell you simply the purpose of Divine Speech. And the way I like to define the purpose of Divine Speech is what happens at the end of Divine Speech. When you're done with Divine Speech, you're supposed to be able to come out and say, wow, this is definitely from Allah. This is not the word of a human being. That's all. I'm not even trying to convince you. I'm just trying to show you what makes the Quran remarkably, inexplicably beautiful. Just humbling, overpowering. That's all I'm trying to do. I traveled with it and I taught this seminar, sometimes even in universities and other places, and non-Muslims attended, and to my count, at least in front of me, 15 people that I know of took Shahada at this program. They were transformed. I didn't do this. I'm just explaining what I've come to understand about the power and beauty of the Quran through this second step called Divine Speech. Here, now that you've done, you're in awe of the Quran now, you want to take that next step. That third step is going to be to get a picture of what the message of the Quran is all about. An overview, an overview, a thematic overview of the Quran, the major subject matters in the Quran. The way that this course was put together is I took passages from the Quran that represent some of the main concepts in the Quran. If you visualize the Quran as a building, these are the pillars holding it together. So if you study these few passages, you have a pretty good idea of the subject matter of the Quran. So no matter where in the Quran you're studying, you can tie it to one of these passages. Right? That's the notion behind it. So before you study the entire Quran, you get kind of a bird's eye view and a pretty decent notion of the major subject matter within it. That's the overview of the Quran, a thematic overview of the Quran. From there, now you're actually ready to embark on a step-by-step journey into the entire Quran. But I don't want you to do that too in-depth yet. I want you to have a good view of a good read, a guided read of the entire book. And that's why I put together a concise commentary on the Quran. This video series is just, you listen to 15, 20 minutes of Quran every day, little by little by little. And as you keep going and making progress in your reading of the Quran, It doesn't matter if it takes you 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. It doesn't even matter, but you're getting drops of the Quran in translation with brief explanation, especially the parts that are hard to understand, that are commonly misquoted or mistranslated, parts that are particularly confusing. I'll highlight in simple language, hey, this is what it actually means, or here's some of the lessons that come from this, but not too in depth. It's not overwhelming. The point of it is you're getting your daily dose of Quran now. And you're going through the entire Quran this way. This is the Quran, a concise commentary. And then comes the final step. To me, my favorite step, actually. And you don't want to jump the gun and get there first. I'd like you to go through this process and take your time with it. The final step is what we call a deeper look. And deeper look is what I decided to do myself. And you'll experience this too. Once you go through the Quran one end to the other, you'll realize there's so much more I want to learn. It's like I touched the surface of the ocean. There's so much going on deeper. I want to go back and experience it again and again and again and again. And so what I decided to do a few years ago is I restarted my study of the entire Quran. I'm studying it like assuming I've never studied it before, and I try to study it in more depth than I've ever tried to study it before. I've actually even put together in Bayina, alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful, we have a research team put together that helps me study the Quran in depth before the in-depth lectures are given, so that we can make our best effort in trying to offer you a deeper meaning and a more profound understanding of the word of Allah to the best of our ability. That's a deeper look. That's something I'm going to be engaged in for the foreseeable future. I see years and years ahead of me where I'm going to be doing a deeper look, and that's what I want for you, is to be engaged in this journey, to go along. I'm not interested in you finishing the journey. I'm just interested in you taking a step in that journey. And that's what brings me to the conclusion of this webinar. These 5 items that I mentioned to you, starting with the Fatiha, doing divine speech, doing the overview, a thematic overview of the Quran, the concise commentary, and the deeper look, these 5 steps, you know what they're inspired by? They're inspired by those 4 tasks given to the Prophet ﷺ. That's what I want to show you. The first task of the Prophet ﷺ was يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ. He introduces people to the miracles. He introduces people to the grand, the amazing word of Allah that humbles them before their king. That is actually the thought behind putting the Fatiha series and the divine speech series together. You go through those 2 steps because that's our way of giving you some taste of يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ. That's that first task of the Prophet ﷺ. The second task of the Prophet ﷺ was وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. He cleanses them. He purifies them. How did he purify them? Continuous, consistent reminder. The thematic overview and then the concise commentary of the Quran, what are we hoping it is for you? Continuous, consistent reminder. It's a means by which we're hoping your hearts are purified, your minds are purified, you're listening to 15, 20 minutes a day on your commute, and you're finding advice that will guide your day. You're going to find relevance more and more and more of the Quran in your life because you're getting a daily dosage constantly. I don't actually expect you to sit with a pen and paper and do this. I just need you to get exposed, that's all. That in itself has a cleansing effect. But so if you go back to the tasks of the Prophet, it was يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ, which is here, divine speech, and Fatiha and divine speech. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, purifies them. We're hoping through the constant reminder of the thematic overview and the concise commentary. But then the Prophet ﷺ was given that latter task, which was he teaches them the law and the wisdom. And teaching, obviously, is when you become a student and you have a teacher. It's more in depth, it's engaging. Now you have to put pen and paper together. And that's where we put the deeper look together. The deeper look study is looking at the Quran in depth so we can learn the law and learn some of the wisdom of the Quran to the best of our ability. That's the journey I'm recommending all of you take. I genuinely, if you were sitting, I'm talking to you through Facebook Live. There may be thousands of miles between us, but please think of me as someone sitting in your living room right now. I genuinely mean well for you. If you came to me personally, I met you at an airport, at a restaurant somewhere, and said, Ustad, how do I study the Quran? This is the advice I'd give you. This is my personal advice to you. I can't, with no strings attached, I just like you to be part of this journey. Don't delay it, don't procrastinate it, don't spend hundreds of hours doing this immediately. No, all I need is little by little by little. Khairul umuri adwamuha wa in qalla, our Prophet says. The best deeds are the ones that are the most consistent, even if they're a little. That's all that we're asked. We just need to be, if I can die in this journey through the Quran, I have succeeded. That's all I care about. That's all I want for you. So if you trust my advice, this is the journey I want you to embark upon. Go to bayina.tv, don't delay. Just sign up today. There's a 2-week trial that I've put together with my team so you can get an idea of how things work. Give it a shot. Make some commitment that in the morning commute, or in the afternoon or in the evening before you go to sleep, you'll take your daily dosage just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm hoping that through this, and some of you are familiar, there's thousands of videos of me on YouTube. There's tons of, I talk a lot, my mom tells me, right? There's tons of content all over the place. Yes, it is, but it's scattered. This is a plan of study. This is like you've taken me as a tutor for your Quran studies. That's what this is. So with me and my colleagues, we're hoping you embark in this Quran journey. And I honestly, genuinely pray that each one of you is blessed in this journey, that you and I don't become lazy in this journey, that Allah brings rizq and beauty in our life and benefits and barakah to ourselves, our children, our loved ones. People around us are inspired because of the light that we continuously receive from Allah's book. My intention for putting this together is to make Him happy. Your intention should be to make Him happy, just to connect to His word. Ya Allah, I just want to understand your word better. I want to live by your word better. I want to be inspired inside of my heart with your word better. That's all. That's all Bayyinah TV is about. I don't care about anything else. If we did nothing else, this is all we did, I'd be happy. I'd be completely happy. And I'd be so happy for you if you give us the honor of embarking on this journey with you. I hope to see you, inshallah ta'ala, in this 2-week trial. Get started. Let friends and family know. I would even say let non-Muslim friends and family know about it. Get them a subscription. I have employees who gave a subscription to their parents, non-Muslim parents who've been listening to Dars of Quran. Christian mothers, that are going through Surah Ali Imran and studying it. Why not? Let them be introduced to Allah's book. What better way for them to learn about Islam than the Quran itself? Let Allah speak to them directly. So I'm hoping that this is a service that Allah accepts from all of us. I'm so grateful that all of you attended today. I'm really also very excited that we've also put an app together. So those of you that want to listen to our stuff and can't watch the videos, you can actually download, it's downloadable audio within the app itself. So you can find it on the App Store. The iPhone app is available and Android is also available. So it's a neat way to be able to consume this stuff, inshallah ta'ala, even if you're on the go. I genuinely hope you take advantage. Thanks so very much for listening today. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.